everybody. I wanted to talk to you about a little bit of zombie action. Night of the Creeps from '86. It gets a 6.7 on IMDb. I'm giving it a 7. I really like it. Directed by Fred Decker. You've got, let me see here, you've got Jason Lively as Chris, who is infatuated with Cynthia, but she's together with this douchebag fraternity guy. And you got Chris' best friend, JC, who he's like, he has two crutches, and I think he has problems walking. It's sort of a disease that his legs don't move too well. And they got, of course, the legendary Tom Atkins, and he has this cool line that he always says if somebody calls him, "Thrill me." It's a cool scene. Now the movie, the characters are pretty well played. You know, you've got the douchebag fraternity guys, the typical douchebags. You got the typical girls who are waiting for. They're all girlfriends of that specific popular fraternity. And then you've got the outcast, Chris and JC. But apparently Cynthia has a crush for Chris, and he eventually, by JC, he doesn't have anything to lose because he knows he's not gonna be good with the girls because of his walking canes, and he pushes Chris into Cynthia, and that's how the sparks start to fly. But then you get that asshole main sorority guy who just kicks out JC's stealths, his canes away, and he falls on the ground. He's basically a piece of shit with this blonde perm. It's now this movie is about these slugs that come from outer space, and you see these cute little aliens with a tiny body, with like the aliens from what was that movie? That comedy movie when they landed on Earth and they have those open brains and those bowls on their head. I can't remember the name of that movie, but it's like that, but even smaller, and they're trying to run after the snail, and the snail eventually escapes the alien ship and goes to Earth. Now the snail reproduces immediately, and they crawl into people's ears, mouths, noses, and you have the creeps, zombies, basically. I mean, you got a little bit of gore in this movie. We learn that the zombies don't like fire, so flamethrower, shotgun, okay, but I thought even with a shotgun in the face, they still can get to you. If the face is half gone, they can still get to you. It's fire that kills them. And we get this awesome final scene with a busload of fraternity guys who then have an accident, and we see all the snails getting in there, and they're all getting you hear them all being snailed to death and becoming creeps, and you see all these zombies crawling out of the bus, and they know where to go to. In their mind, they still have their priority, and that's going to the fraternity of the girls. And then you have Tom Atkins, and then Chris, and then Cynthia. with flamethrowers. Tom Hanks has a shotgun and his revolver, his six shooter, and he's starting to shoot every like a crazy man, like bam, bam, bam. You see the camera, rolling out. Tom Atkins is always a cool guy, and for God's sakes, he has a mustache. He's a mustachio guy again because the fog that didn't work. That really didn't work. And in Creep Show, he in the wraparound, he doesn't have a mustache either. No, 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 no. You need that mustache, Tom. You really need that. Like I said, the movie is the characters are really, it gets a 7 from me, so I really liked it. Tom Atkins also had a history with a girl from the same fraternity, and she was killed by an escaped lunatic with an axe, and apparently he blew blew his head away with a shotgun. Now, the same lunatic was buried in a that was actually a kill, out of, you know, not reported, and he what he did was he buried it somewhere near the house mothers from the girls' sorority's house, and then you see this zombie coming out with a no, it's not a zombie, not a zombie. Can't call them zombies. A creep coming out, and he uses the axe. He buried him with the axe, and then he axes the house mother, and then all these police members are cornering him, and then you see this shot, really cool creep zombie. I'm gonna say it. Nah, fuck you. Um, he when Tom Atkins arrives, he's surprised that he's still alive, and he goes ape shit on him and starts to fire multiple shotgun that almost nothing is left of him, and I think he smashes in his head or something. He just completely destroys him, and that gets him back to the memory of his girlfriend, and then he wanted to kill himself by with putting the gas on and taping everything shut. But then Chris needs his help because a bunch of creeps are coming to the sorority house of the girls, and then okay, I'll help you. Then he eventually helps them, and we get an awesome fight with Tom Atkins, Chris, and Cynthia versus the creeps. We have Cynthia's ex-boyfriend, the douche. He gets it. Uh, it's funny because when she's trying to explain that they're done, that they're breaking up, he's sitting there next to her like, ugh, sorry, I really, I'm actually in love with somebody else. Ugh. I mean, and he doesn't do anything to her. Just sits there, and every time she says something, he answers with "Ugh." So it's a fun movie. It's a horror comedy. It's a fun movie. You've got some creepy moments. You got some gore. Um, the the creeps, zombies look great. Tom Atkins great. Chris, JC, Cynthia, the girlfriend, because she kicks ass at the end. She's not, the maiden in distress, and she has to be, oh no, help me or save me, I can't do it, I can't do it. No, she picks up the flamethrower, starts to, blaze away and things like that. It's cool. It's pretty cool. Um, it's one of my, I think it's one of my favorite. Let's just put George Romero's trilogy out of the equation. It's one of my favorite zombie esque kind of movies. Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. It's one of those movies I watch several times a year. So that says something, right? So I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. So you should probably give it a watch if you never seen it. So like the video, subscribe, and see you later. Adios.